Let me go over 5 and 7 from that assignment over the weekend here. 5 and 7. Number 5, you had to match the curve to the equation, something we did not do on Friday. I always had you give you the equation and graph it. So now I want to give you the graph and match it. First thing to determine is if this is a sine or a cosine curve. And the first place I would recommend you guys look is right on the y-axis at 0. Does this curve start at 0? No. So automatically, which choice? This can't be what type of curve if it doesn't start at 0. Can't be a sine curve, right? Because sine starts at 0. So now it's either 3 or a -3 cosine. Go back to our discussion at the beginning of class. Where does cosine always start? Cosine starts at the max, right? But look, where's this starting? At minimum. So what must have I put out in front for it to flip? Negative sign. Yep. So that's why it's choice 2. Next, 7. Like to put Thursday quiz, by the way. Thursday quiz. Like to put these types of questions on there. I got 6 sine x. So let me just do a quick sketch of what that bad boy looks like so I know what I'm dealing with. Help me out. Sine starts where? 0. Then goes to where? Max, which is what? What's the max of this curve? 6. Good. Then goes back to where? 0 down to min, -6, and then ends back up at 0. All right, so here's my curve. Which one of these 4 is not going to intersect? Well, I'm going to eliminate these 2 right here, and you may not know why. Anytime it's x equals, this is vertical lines. All right, these are vertical lines. And look, anytime I throw a vertical, I don't care where it is, it's always going to hit. Even if it's out here, it's going to hit. Why? It starts repeating again. So any vertical line is always going to hit, so they're out. Now, what about these 2 right here? Well, if x equals our vertical lines, y equals our horizontal. So let's talk about the first one. Y equals -4. You guys told me, how low does this go? Down to? -6. So is it -4 right here? That'll hit because it goes down to -6. What won't hit? 9, because it goes up to 6. 9's way up here. Never going to hit at 9. All good. Questions? Because we're going to take our basic curves today and ready? Move them up and move them down. We're going to shift them up and down. Vertical shift, up and down. What do you say? Let's just hop right into the fire. All right, let's hop right into the fire. All right, here's our first one today. F of x equals sine x plus 3. What's different from Friday? What am I doing now to the sine curve? Plus 3. This is the same thing. You probably don't even remember it last year, but you did a whole unit on transformations last year in Algebra 2A. Anytime I add or subtract a number on the outside, that's what's called a vertical shift. And since it's plus 3, where am I moving? Up or down? Up 3 units. So every single point on that sine curve, every single point on this sine curve is going to get moved up 3. But we'll do that at the end. All right, we'll graph at the end. So how would the graph affect it? It's going to go up 3 units. If it was minus, I'd go down. So part B is asking us, well, that means our max and min are going to change, right? Our old max of 1 and -1, they're not going to be 1 and -1 anymore because they're going to shift. All right, so what's our new max and what's our new min? Well, let's figure this out. What was our old minimum? Just y equals sine x. It went down to where? -1, right? Everyone agrees? It went down to -1. But now, what am I doing to it? I'm moving it. -1 is going to get moved up 3. So what's your new min? +2. Everyone all right? How I did that? All right. How about my new max? What was the old max? 1. And now I'm taking that one and also shifting it Up 3. So my new max, 4. Meaning, what's going to be my range now? We talked on Friday. Range, y values from what to what? From now, it's what? Our range is going to go from 2 to 4. What do I put it in? Parentheses or brackets? Range. Brackets. So smaller number always goes first. 2, comma, 4. I don't like the word. I got to change the wording of this for next year. The middle values will be on what horizontal line? Meaning, give me a line that's going to halfway in between your min and your max. So you got 2 as your min, 4 as your max. What's in the middle? 3, right? But we're going to say y equals 3. That's the line that splits. That's the line that's right in between your min and max. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We're going to give this a new name now because I'm not going to say middle values. This is now referred to as our midline. The line that is halfway between your min and your max. The midline. The line that is halfway between your min and max. Whoa, whoa, whoa. 3? 3? Where did that already come up? 3. At the very beginning of the problem, where do we see that 3 again? Plus 3. Midline equals your shift. Whatever the shift is, that's your midline. All right? So you don't even have to think about it. You look right at the equation. What was I shifting? That's your midline. All right? That's your midline. What, Jake?
What if it's like y equals like back here it says like y equals -5 and you have like a shift of 2? Wouldn't it not equal the shift line then? Or
Oh, it always does. Watch. Believe me. We got a couple more here. All right? Believe my madness here. All right, you ready to graph now? Now comes the fun. Now we're ready to graph. Yeah. Get hyped up now. Are we doing sine or cosine? Sine. Where does sine usually start? 0. Okay, I want to stop saying that now. Stop saying 0 because we're getting a little more complicated. Sine starts at the midline now. Midline. Okay? Midline, which was what for us? 3. Okay, so instead of starting at 0, it's going to start at the midline, 3. So instead of saying 0 coming out of your mouth, that's not true anymore. Midline comes out of the mouth. Okay, starts at the midline, then goes to where? It's sine curves. Midline to the max. We already wrote it down. What's the max? So at pi over 2, I'm going to 4. Midline, max to where? Midline, good. Don't say 0 anymore. We want to say midline. So at pi, we should be graphing 3. Everyone's good? Then where? Where's the sine curve travel to now? Minimum, right? Minimum, 2. And then where does every sine curve end? Still, not at 0. I don't want to say that anymore. It ends at the midline, which is your shift, 3. And there it is. And think about it. This is our sine curve. We just booted it up 3 units. That's all we did. We took your old sine curve we did from Friday, kicked it up 3 units. Questions on the vertical shift? We got more to go, but all right. Whoa, whoa. Now we got a number out in front with the shift. Ooh, we gonna be able to handle this? I think this group's going. What do you think? Yeah. This crew, no problem. Right there. Amplitude. We talked about that term on Friday. Where's the amplitude found? That's the number out in front, which is 3. Yes, that's the amplitude, 3. Amplitude's another name for the height. It's kind of the height of your curve, 3. Okay, talk to me. What about the shift here now? Shift, all points are moving.
-3.
Okay, here's -3 is correct. Here's why I won't accept that though on a test or quiz. That doesn't really prove to me that you know what negative means. Does it mean up or down? Down. So write down 3 for me, please. When you put a negative there, I'm still like, I know they're decent students, but do they really know if that means up or down? So when you write down or up, that tells me. Midline? If you know the shift, you know the midline. Y equals -3 is your midline. So here's probably the toughest part, determining the max and the min. Here's the process. Who's up? 9 in the house? All right, here we go. Here's how I want to do the max and the min with you. On Friday, before you never knew anything about shifting, I gave you that. What was our max and min from that on Friday? Up and down to what?
1 and -1.
Well, but now I got a number out in front.
Oh,
Right?
3 and -3.
Okay, so our old Friday min and max were -3 to 3. Everyone in agreement. But today I'm shifting and I'm doing what to those min and maxes now on this one?
Taking 3 away.
Moving them all
Down 3.
down 3. Everyone see where I'm going there? Jared, you good? Yes, we're all right, guys? All right, so now you tell me, Aaron, keep going. What's my new minimum? -6. And my new max, it seems strange to say this, but it's my new max, which is 0. There it is. So what I'd like you guys to do is take the old min and max before you shifted it, and then apply the shift. So my new max is 0, my new minimum, -6, period. That's always going to stay the same. That's how far the graph's going to go on the x-axis, and that's to 2 pi until tomorrow. We're always going to finish our graphs at 2 pi, and then I'll start repeating again. All right, we ready? Graph time. Sine or cosine are we graphing? Where does it start? Midline, which is?
0. Or -3.
-3. Oh, wait. Time out. Oh, geez. We better start getting this habit. Anybody see a problem with our graph? Yeah, there's no way I'm going to be able to graph -6 on here. And I don't, if I can avoid it, I don't want to have to go all the way and try to estimate. So anybody have any suggestions? Go by twos, yes. So just make sure you got enough on your graph, because if not, you might have to change your scale. All right, so let's go by twos. All right, I got to start calling on some people here. 13 in the house, 13. Hi, Jared. Where does sine curve always start?
Midline,
Which is what for us?
which would be the 3 or -3.
So there's my first point, right? -3. After the midline, where does the sine curve go from there? 12? No?
0.
Oh, hi, Sydney. How are you? Goes to the max, right? Which would us? Good job. 0. Back to where? So I got midline, max, back to where? 8. Who's 8? Are you 8, Tim? Sure. Where's it go, Tim? Minimum. Whoa, minimum?
It's 0.
Back. Hold on. Midline, max, then back to where? Midline, which is -3 for us. Then goes to the minimum, -6. Then every sine curve finishes at the midline. Jake, are you starting to see now? All right. That -3 is halfway in between your min and max. Yep, it'll work. Questions? Because this last graphing question, I'm going to throw everything I can possibly throw at you now. Any questions? I'm going to change it to cosine. I'm going to put a number out in front and a negative out in front.
Okay, wait.
What?
Why'd you subtract 3 for both?
Because it said take all your points and go down 3.
Okay.
Here's what it was saying, Clayton. It said take this graph right here, which we worked with on Friday. All those points on that graph right there go down 3. So on this graph, my max was 3. But it said, no, move it down 3. So if I take 3 and move it down 3, I'm at 0. The minimum point on this graph was negative 3. Because it goes up to 3, down to negative 3, right? So negative 3, move negative 3 down 3 more units, and you're at negative 6. Good? Anybody else before I throw this huge one at you? This beast at you. All right, let's see if we can tame it. This thing, it's going to go out. God. Why? We're just rolling along on the tracks. All right, let's do this. Woo! Negative 1/2 cosine x plus 3. Don't get intimidated. Hey, when you're doing the assignment here in a couple minutes, do all these questions first. Graph last. Please graph last. All right? Find all these values first. Amplitude. I'm hoping somebody makes the mistake here. I'm hoping you do. What's the amplitude here? 1? Yep. 15?
-1/2.
Thank you for making the mistake. Thank you. Amplitude? Never negative. Remember, what's the effect the negative is having? All that is doing is saying, take your mins and flip them with your maxes, right? Does not go with the amplitude. The amplitude is the positive version, 1/2. What's the shift here? Up, down, how many units? 11?
Up 3.
Up 3? You know the shift, you know the midline. What's the midline equation? 2? Y equals 3. All right, here we go. We got a little work to do now. Max and min. Before we went up 3, before you went up 3, so cover up the up 3. What was the max and min before we went up 3? 6. Good man, good man. There we go. Negative 1/2, positive 1/2. And then we took those points and went up 3, up 3. What's your new min? What's your new max? 6 again. Let's go, stud.
2.5.
Is my minimum my max?
3.5.
Yeah. That's too much between them. So max 3.5, min 2.5. Period. Still going to stay 2 pi. Again, that's just where the graph's going to end on the x-axis. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. Range, I already wrote it down over there. Not going to ask. 2.5. Smaller numbers got to come first. Comma 3.5. All in brackets. Are you ready to graph? Yeah. We're ready to roll. Cosine curve now. Cosine for the first time today. Where does cosine usually start? 8. Where's cosine usually start?
No, 8.
Okay. How about a 4? Where does cosine usually start? Max. But I got a negative out in front, don't I? Not going to start at the max this time. Where's it going to start? Minimum 2.5. Everyone all right? Why I'm starting at 2.5 here? Let's see. 1, 2.5. I'm starting at the minimum because there's a negative sign, so I have to max and mins flip. All right, yes, usually it starts at the max, then goes where? Where's the cosine curve going now? 6, 0, midline, right? We don't say 0 anymore. It goes to its midline, which is 3. Then where? Usually where?
Oh,
You-
sorry.
Usually to the min,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Usually at this point we graph the minimum, but negative sign says, no, flip it. You're actually going to graph the max, 3.5. And then it goes back down to the midline, 3. Cosine usually ends at the max. Negative says to flip it. So this one's going to end at the minimum, 2.5. And there we go. Questions, comments? Going? We sure are right. That's as much as I can throw at you right there for today anyway. Tomorrow I can throw more, but today that's as hard as I get. All right. Couple more here. Now you determine this shift and the A value out in front, the C and the A value. Just so you guys know, you're not freaked out, or maybe you want to impress somebody later. Sinusoidal. I think that's how you pronounce it. That's how I pronounce it. The last 13, 14 years I've taught this. So that's just a curve that repeats itself. That doesn't mean sine curve. That just means any curve that repeats itself, sinusoidal. All right, so find the A value. What should be the A value here and what should be the C? Can we start with the C value? That's your shift, also your midline, right? Can you guys find a line that cuts the min and max in half? You're going up to 22 and you're going down to 6. So can you find where this line should be here that cuts them in half? Because that's your C value. That's your C value that cuts it in half. Anybody find that C value?
14.
What's halfway between 22 and 6? 14? Yeah?
No.
Everyone's all right with that? 14?
No, 18.
18? Oh, we got 18? Well, isn't 18, Tim, 4 away from 22 and 12 away from 6? Right? So that's not halfway in between. 18 wouldn't be halfway in between. I think it would be 14. Right? 14 here. Because it's 8 away from 6 and 8 away from 22, halfway. And now the A value. Here you go. Here's your A value. You got to find the C value first. The A value is how far away this line is from each of them, which should be the same. Okay, that's your A value. How far away this midline, how far the midline is between the max and the min. And it should be the same on both sides. How far is it from 14 to 22? How far is it from 6 to 14? Both at what? 8. Yep. For once in this class, I'm going to make your life easier. Instead of trying to remember, oh, C value, that's the line halfway in between. A is how far away that line is. I'm going to just give you 2 formulas to make your life easy. All right, so go to the front of your packet for me. Front of your packet so you know where these 2 formulas are every time. If you ever want to find your A value, quickly, A value. Ready? The A value is just going to be the max minus min divided by 2. You take your max, subtract your min, and cut it in half. And then your C value, we're going to take max, but now we're going to add it to the minimum and divide by 2. Yep. Which is, I think, a lot of you guys did on your calculator to get 14. So anytime you need to find the A or the C value, There are the two formulas you can reference. I'd like you to see you do A and B on your own. Find the range. All right, so exercise 5, A and B. Try those on your own. Find the range and write it in interval notation, aka the brackets. So it's asking find the new max, find the new max, find the new min. Think about where you started. So cover up the shift. Ask yourself what was the max and min before the shift, and then add or subtract the shift in. How's it going, all right? How's -3 to 11 work for A? -3 to 11. And then for B, -3 to 7. What's your deal? Go ahead.
Well, how do you do it for B?
Yep. So it was -5 to 5, right?
Yeah.
And then I added 2. -5 plus 2 gave me a new min of -3.
Yeah.
5 and 2 gave me a new max of 7. All right, let's go. Flip her over. Answer the questions to the right, graph last for every problem, okay? So that first graph right there, answer the questions to the right, graph it last. Answer the questions to the right, graph it last. I think once you know all the values you need, it's easier to graph at the end instead of at the beginning. So find all your values first.